So what are we even supposed to talk about tonight? Oh, hey, we're live.
Yay! And I'm with the two mics, I guess. Sorry, a mic and a
Woohoo!
mic.
You should be so lucky.
Do you answer to Mike, Michael?
I'll answer to anything that's close, honestly. There's so many of us, it's hard to keep track.
There is. There are a lot of Michaels. It's kind of like Tim's, Michaels, and Steve's. It's like there's
Oh yeah, and Ben's. A lot of Ben's.
Ben?
Yeah, I have I want to say like 5 Bens in my company that I work with right now. And they're all like upper level guys too. So it's just like Ben, Ben, Ben. Which Ben you talking about?
That's too many Bens.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
There shouldn't
When
be.
when I was in middle school, there were 60 kids in our class, boys and girls. There were 5 mics out of 30 boys.
Yep. Out of 30?
Out of 30.
That's
Guess what was the number one name in 1971 for boys, and number 3 in 1970 when I was born?
Josephus.
Close, very close.
So yeah, unless you've been living under a rock for the last month and haven't gone on to social media at all.
So you're talking to my brother Dan.
Then you would not know who Michael Vadney is. If you are on any of the socials, anywhere, you have almost certainly seen, if not this face, then this book cover. And tonight we are going to actually talk a little bit about this book. But
really?
I am more interested in how this is your first book, right, Mike?
Yes, it is.
I am much more interested in how Mr. Vadney here, and I'm going to say Mr. Vadney in this sentence on purpose, has approached going about marketing this book, because it's almost like you've listened to podcasts and read things and are taking those lessons to heart and actually doing the things that are supposed to be done.
That is exactly what I'm doing. It's just a lot of research. It's a lot of just talking to people and seeing what worked for them, what didn't work for them, and going, all right, cool. I have the capacity to do these things, and I'm going to stretch myself a little bit. Like I was saying before the stream, throw my sanity out the window for a few months and just make sure I can put my face and, more importantly, my book everywhere.
It is important that you show your book as often as you can.
Yep. Yeah, just have them like side by side on shoulder pads for you. We got to invent this for indie authors. They can just walk around with it.
Yeah, kind of like this.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Be one of those little hats. Instead of having beer cans in it, you can just have like little books on it or something.
Yeah,
there you go. With enough duct tape, we can make any dream come true.
So, how many? We are not the first stop on your book tour, and I'm hurt. Were you your own first stop, because you have a podcast akin to this, and it is called
Author Adjacent? And no, I actually don't have anything on my own channel about this, because it's just myself. I think at the end of this book tour, which has gone on for all of March and is going to go on for all of April, at the end of it, I'm planning to do something that just kind of end caps the whole thing. But yeah, I've been doing this for a while now. A lot of interviews, and it's always like interviews, blog posts, or blog interviews, either in writing or on YouTube now, just 1 to 3 times every week. You can find me on the internet giving updates about like what I'm doing here, what I'm doing with the tour, and just continuing to yap about Crownfall and myself. Let's see, in March I had 1.
How many tour dates total do you have? You insane person, you.
I had 11 in March, and in April I have 10 in April. And there are a few in there that kind of like ad hoc, just randomly fell into my lap that I've also done. This past Saturday, I hopped onto a live stream for Michael D. Melwassel, who's doing a Kickstarter. He launched his Kickstarter the very first day, and he was looking for people to come on it. Hey, there he is. He's actually in the chat right there. So yeah, sometimes there's these ad hoc opportunities to just kind of get out there, help support other people as well. And you can just get on there and just start talking. And it was a good time. So yeah, on here I have about, 22 stops on the actual tour, and then a few ad hoc that I didn't plan and kind of just fell into my lap.
So did you have to go out and like kind of peruse the interwebs and find out, or did you know of all of these different book talk kind of channels, or did you have to go cold calling a little bit?
Some of them was cold calling, and honestly, what I did is I went around and saw other people's book tours for what they were doing. Adrian's was a big one that I looked at because he had a really big book tour when he did Mushroom Blues. Yeah,
Yeah, he
and
even showed up on our channel.
Yeah, yeah. And I looked at his list, and I looked at which of those channels still existed, and I knew of other ones because I have people on my show. I had both of you guys over on Author Adjacent, so I reached out to you guys. So it was a lot of like, I know these people, I'm going to reach out to them, see if they have space on their show. But for the people that I've never had contact with, or shows that I never had contact with, I just sent them an email, and I was like, hey, this is who I am. This is my book. I'm starting a book tour. I would like to schedule you onto it. If that works out for you and you have time in your schedule between March and April, I really appreciate it. If you need a ebook copy of it, or like, here's the cover, here is the blurb, and just respectfully introduce myself. And there were a lot of emails that I sent out that I never heard anything back. And that's okay, because people are super busy. Rarely is this our number one priority, our breadwinning, paying the bills job. So it's okay that people are going to be a little too busy sometimes.
So, Michael, we were not the first stop on your tour.
You were not.
Were we the first you scheduled?
You're
because
straws,
pretty up there.
Do you know what date we scheduled this?
Last year.
September 15th.
Wow, seriously?
Yes.
Yeah, because originally I thought I was going to release my book 2 months earlier than I'm doing it right now. And I thought my book tour was going to be February and March. And I was scheduling them all for February and March. And then I realized during the editing process, oh no, I can't get it done in time. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get this book done editing. It needs more work than I expected. And I had to reach out to everybody, you guys included. And I was like, hey, I'm totally sorry. I feel absolutely horrible for doing this, but can we reschedule about 2 months later? And I sent an email to everybody, for everyone that was on the tour, and not a single person gave me grief about it. Seriously, Mike gave me a little bit of grief, but it was like good, comedic grief that really lifted my spirits.
Well,
but everyone was really cool about it.
Yeah, if you're scheduling that far out, kicking it another month or two down the road, it's not going to interrupt anybody's plans too much, I don't think. But your book actually doesn't come out until like the 28th of April, right?
Correct. We have 26 days.
Yeah, if you want this, you're going to have to wait.
It's available for pre-order right now on Kindle and on my website.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. So are you doing direct sales or just ebook direct sales?
The ebook is going to be through Kindle. I'm going to put it on Kindle Unlimited, make it as widely as available through Kindle as far as the ebook is concerned. The physical copies are also going to be available on Amazon, paperback and hardback, but I am also doing direct sales myself, and I'll be selling them right here out of my house, signed copies. It'll be fun.
So are you prepared if there's like a huge influx of orders or something that you're going to be processing and boxing books?
That will definitely be me. And if that happens, if I get that huge influx, don't worry. I'll document it and throw it on the internet so people can be like, buddy, you're too busy. And I'm like, I know, but I like it.
Yeah. I mean, if you got to be busy doing something, that's a good thing to be doing.
Exactly.
Mike, do you have something you want to ask?
I do. We're almost 10 minutes in, and it might just be a 10-minute show because I have to ask the questions. If you're going down the main drag of your city, what is your city, by the way? Are you in Dallas?
I was in Dallas. I'm in Fort Worth now, which is only like 45 minutes away.
It's really okay, right?
So you're going down the main drag of Fort Worth, and I don't know what that street is because I've never been to Texas, which... Well, no, I guess I flew in. Anyway, you're in a saddle. Are you on a Griffin or are you on a T-Rex? And know that your fellow Texan is here, and he has thoughts on this as well.
So I have the closest thing you can get to real world experience to answer this question.
Okay.
Yeah, so about, I want to say like 5+ years ago, it was my wife's birthday, and she wanted to go hang gliding.
She only has a birthday
And
every
so
5 years.
What was that?
So, never mind. Carry on.
Sorry. But yeah, she wanted to go hang gliding. And I was like, okay, I'm going to surprise her this year. She's been talking about it for years. We're going to go hang gliding. I looked around. I could not find any hang gliding around where we were going to be. But what I did find was, I think it's called like power hang gliding. So you have the giant triangular sail thing above you, but then underneath it is 2 seats and an engine with a giant fan on it. And you can pay this. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you can pay this guy. He lives out in the middle of Texas. He has a farm. He's got a license to do all these things. He may not have. I don't know. I didn't look that closely at the fine print. But we went and we did that. And he took us up one at a time. And she went first. It was her birthday. She took her camera up. She literally went through the clouds. That's how high up that were. And it was amazing. She had a wonderful time. Then he came back down and picked me up and took me up there. And then that's when I remembered, oh yeah, I'm terrified of heights. And this is horrible. And I am so scared. And this is just the most ridiculous thing that I have ever done. And then at one point, the pilot gives you the controls. And I'm like, I should not be steering us. What are we doing? I'm going to die. So I'm going to pick T-Rex.
All right, smart man. We can continue the interview.
For the Griffin. But didn't you get to a point, though? Because, like, I'm not excellent with heights myself, right? But after a certain point, it ceases to matter, right? Because I have sat in helicopters with my feet dangling over the side and been happy as a clam, right? And it's perfectly fine. But it's like that first 50 feet where you can see, like, the tops or near the tops of street lights and trees and stuff where you still have that vague sense of height.
Yeah.
But after a certain distance, it's like, whatever.
I actually felt safer. So he takes you all the way up. And like I said, you literally go through the clouds. Everything is like this big. You're so high up. And eventually he comes back down and he kind of skirts closer to the ground. I felt much safer when I could see the ground and actually be like, okay, that's a tree and everything. But when we were in the clouds, at no point did I feel like I wasn't about to immediately fall out for some inexplicable reason.
So
it was terrifying.
You've gone parachuting before, I'm assuming, right? Being in the Air Force and all?
No.
Oh. I went parachuting.
That's lunacy.
Oh, nice.
If the plane is on fire, okay. Right? But no.
Well, when I did it, I actually had to climb out, and I was just holding on to the strut, and they go, "Let go!" And you're like, "Let's reconsider."
I can see that.
Were you strapped to somebody, or did you jump yourself?
It's static line, so I strapped to the plane. So once I got far enough away, my parachute deployed. But the fun thing is, once I got down, and they're like, "So, did you black out?" I'm like, "Well, how would I know if I blacked out?" They're like, "Did you see your parachute unfurl?" I'm like, I let go. I looked up and my parachute was open. They said, "Yeah, you blacked out for 2 seconds." We don't tell people that until after they've jumped.
Nice.
Well, now you told me beforehand, so more reason not to do it.
Well, but trying to find some place now that you can static line, good luck with that. Everybody wants you to go in tandem because, they want someone who knows what they're doing up there controlling.
There was definitely a period in my life where I was like, oh yeah, I want to go skydiving. It would be a blast. I would love that. And then I discovered I have a fear of heights. And then I'm like, no, that's never happening. Not unless I absolutely need to.
So when I went way back when in 91 in West Virginia, so there are 5 of us who went, and the one guy who weighed like $130, they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll give you the laser shoot. You'll be up there for 20 minutes or so. It'll just be magical. It'll be great." And they looked at you and said, "You'll fall like a rock." and they said, "And you'll be having the Goliath shoot." And the crazy thing is, I weighed 205 at the time.
Oh man. I've done the thing where they hang you on the parachute and you go by like a speedboat and it pulls you over the ocean and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
done that, and I thought I would be terrified for that. But
See-
once you're up there on that one I felt perfectly safe.
I would that to me would be worse.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know. I just think that would anyway. Hardly matters. So
We can talk
before
hours
we
for
get
this.
to what Crownfall is about, and we will, I swear. What you were doing the booktuber thing. You've been doing that for
Yeah.
a couple of years, right?
Yeah, a little over 2 years now.
Have you always been writing the book in the background of that, or is it something you started doing after?
Yes, I started author adjacent knowing that my goal was to be an author and to write a book. I roughly started writing Crownfall when I turned about 30, but I didn't really dedicate myself diligently to it till about a little over 2 years ago as well. So around the time I started Crownfall, or the around time I started author adjacent, was around the time I was like, all right, I'm going to take this seriously. If I want to be an author, I have to actually do it. It's not just going to show up on my doorstep and be like, huzzah, you're ready.
So I had a question for you. After how many times of interviewing people did you say to yourself, if these schleps can do it, surely I can write a book? How long did it take you in your interview before you're like, hey, if they can do it, oh my God.
Right after he talked to you, Mike.
I was going to say, I've learned a lot from every single guest that I have had onto the show. There you go. You got a bunch of books, Mike. But there is something about just like talking to authors and being like, oh, they're just people. Like there's not a special sauce ingredient or genetic thing that is happening that makes them predisposed to be able to do this. And even like authors who have been like very successful and have made it, like the degrees of separation between you and that person are so much smaller than you expect them to be.
Yeah.
It's namely just because once you finish a book, you have done what like 90% of people who set out to do haven't done yet. Because a lot of people start books and don't finish them. I know I started several before I finished Crownfall.
How many?
So I always tell people the only thing you have to do to be an author is you have to be stubborn.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, just a willingness to continue on despite every reality.
How many books did you start before Crownfall?
Officially, probably 3, maybe 4. But I've been writing off and on since I was in like middle school, maybe high school. Never taken it seriously, never being like, yeah, this is something that I would actually do. It was just something that kind of sat in the back of my brain of like, this is fun. It would be nice to be able to do this, but you know, that's not reality. I went to college and I got a job and I got a lot of different jobs. And then I read James Islington's The Lycanius trilogy. And after I finished that trilogy, he has a bio in the back of it, just talking about him, the normal stuff. And in it, it was like, he didn't start writing seriously until he hit 30. And I finished the Lycanius trilogy while I was approaching 30s. And I was like, oh, it's not too late. And I now know that's like the stupidest thought to have in the world, because it's never too late to really start writing and start trying to pursue any dream that you have, unless it's like be an NBA All-Star. That one might have sailed for me.
Mike, how old were you when Druid came out?
When Druid came out, I was 50.
Yeah.
I started writing at 46.
Yeah. It's never too late to start. Like, it doesn't matter.
Even old people like me.
I was gonna say old bastards like you, but you know, that's the same thing. That's fair. So what are you last question before we get into the book? Pantser or plotter?
Well, if you can't tell by the fact that I try to schedule this interview like 3-4 months in advance, I'm definitely a plotter. I like
7
to have
months
a plan
in advance, by the way.
Yeah.
7 months.
Yeah, 7 months in advance. I was trying to play it cool, Mike. Damn. But I need structure in my life. I need to know where the guardrails are. Otherwise, I feel like there's just a million different options and I could run in a million different directions. And that's too many choices to make when I'm trying to put words onto the page. I need to limit my choices before I get there. So I'm definitely.
I know I said that last question was the last question before we get into the book,
That's
but I
okay.
totally lied. Is there as you were writing it and doing Arthur Jason, was there any point where you're like talking to someone, doing an interview with them, and they said something that made you think, "Oh yeah," and you kind of went back and like incorporated something of what they said into your routine or your work?
Yeah. God, what's a good one that I can really pull out of the hat here?
Are there T-Rexes in your book?
There are not T-Rexes in my book.
Okay, well that's a sequel. That's fine.
And there's always room in the prequel for T-Rexes. They got to go extinct somehow. But no, I don't think. God, none is coming to mind at the moment. But I remember talking to JL Odom after she won Spiffbo. I reached out to her, got her on for an interview shortly after that, and I remember talking to her about her process for writing it and how her editing process worked. And I remember talking to her about that and like really stressing the editing. And I remember her saying something along the lines of like, don't focus on everything, just focus on this thing for this pass. Don't try to do it all at once. And that changed a lot of my stress level when it came to the editing. I still ended up doing a lot in each individual pass of editing, especially towards the end when I was just trying to lock it in. But it's something that I try to remember now as I'm going into my next project, that I need to calm it down and just try to do a little at a time.
And EL is going to be EL.
Well, let's just start there then, shall we?
All right. There is not any spice in it. There is like a slow burn romance in it. As far as violence, there is violence, not to the level of EL's. I don't think I could write that hard yet, but maybe in a future project. There is violence, there is blood, there is gore, there is a little bit of body horror in it at certain parts that I will not give away for spoiler reasons. But as far as like spice goes for sexual content, I don't have a lot in this book, mainly because I didn't feel that I was equipped to tackle that just yet. Spice in books is something that I've had mixed feelings on for a while. And it took reading the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks to really show me how you can put that in there without it being, we have sex in here just because it's flashy and fun and it'll sell books. And that was the first book series that I ever read where I'm like, oh, you can have this stuff in here and there's a point to the relationship that is happening here, that it's actually adding to the story. And I've been reading more and more romance. I do like romance novels. You might be able to see it. I think it's that one. Addie LaRue is one of my favorite romance novels, but big into like fantasy, sci-fi, and like romance is my third. So eventually I'll grow into it more, but Crownfall itself is limited on the spice.
Did you like the spicy scene in Haley Traveler?
Dude,
I haven't gotten around to Haley Traveler
yet. And the answer is no. No one. You're going to cringe. I guarantee you.
Cringy. Yeah. It's like,
is it intentionally cringy?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Then success.
So what is Crownfall about? Give us your pitch. I know it's the first time you've had to do it, so
definitely, because this is the very first stop. Don't worry, Mike, Ro, you guys are my first. I promise. So I'll do it with the naked cover since we're talking about spice. So it is about a magical engineer, a noble lady, and a thief as they're slowly pulled into revolting against the leader of their nation, who has a 10-year plan for domination. What was that?
What was the third one? A magical engineer, something?
A magical engineer,
yeah.
A noble lady, and a thief.
Thief. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, it's about how they are all pulled into revolting against the viceroy of their nation, who has this 10-year plan of domination.
Who has notes? What the hell is he talking about? What's EL talking about? What's a magical engineer?
So
Sounds
I
cool.
have,
I like it.
yeah, I have magic tech in this world. It's roughly equivalent to like the early 1700s technology wise. And the reason that is this empire that is kind of taken the main area of the story. It takes place in a city on an island named Barunt, and Barunt is a territory of an empire across the ocean. That empire has a crystal, this orange crystal, which you can see some of it on the book, that allows them to power technology. You can store energy, convert energy, and expel energy from it. So through that, you can do things like take kinetic energy, turn it to light, take heat, turn it into electricity. And through that, we get roughly early 1700s technology.
So is it almost kind of steampunkish without, the mess of coal?
It's closer to like an arcane punk. Arcane punk is what I'm calling it. So it's like it's technology powered by magic.
So what does your triumvirate of heroes have to accomplish?
Well, each of them has kind of like a different story that overlaps and intersects with each other. Oh, what is he doing? It's the Three Musketeers with battery. We can definitely call it that. There are a lot of big batteries in there. Don't encourage him. All right. I'm sorry. I can't yell. I've been told by the host. But yeah, so Kindell, he is our thief. He is on a revenge story. His life has been ruined before the story starts, and he is on the path of revenge, just trying to get as close as he can to the people that have destroyed his life. Amara, my noble lady, her house has fallen in both social standing and financial destitution, and her goal is to bring it back to its former glory, just like the way her parents did. And then our magical engineer, Gellert, before the story, his morals have been tested and broken. And now he is just trying to live in the aftermath of what do you do when you realize that the beliefs that you have in the world won't be true just because you believe them.
No wonder it's over 500 pages. I mean, that's a lot of character development to.
There's a lot going on there. It's bigger than I expected it to be. I set out to write like 100,000 words, and the final product ended up being 125,000 words, which isn't too bad for a fantasy novel.
No,
not too bad.
That's all right. How much? What was it at its peak?
At its peak, I think it was like 135.
Okay, so somebody got into it and carved up a little bit.
Oh yeah. My editor is ruthless and does not care about my feelings when it comes to my book, and I appreciate
mine too.
Good man, whatever they happen to be. Well done on them.
She is actually in the chat right now. She is my wife, and she's
I see. Sure you're feeling.
So I was going to ask you because Ro is my editor, and when he gives me the edits back, I'm like, okay. I'm just going to fix the stupid stuff because I know there, and there, but inevitably I use the wrong one somewhere. I'm like, all the little piddly stuff I'll just accept, blah, blah, blah. And then all the other comments I'll just like read a couple, then I'm like, but that's not fair! I'm like, you know what? Just do the little stuff, sit on it for a day or two, and then I go back and I'm like, okay, yeah, I see his point.
Yeah. So sometimes you got to give yourself some time to be butthurt about it. I've definitely have been there.
And I mean, it's fine with me, and because I can just not talk to Ro. But if it's your wife, what are you going to do?
It's a whole different thing.
It is a little different, and I will say it was a challenging transition for us at times, especially towards the end when it was like really in the crunch time of it, and just really trying to get this going. And we had to push it, like I said earlier, we had to push it back 2 months. That is not true. That did not happen.
So if she's your editor, you can fire her, right?
I totally can, but that's going to make some awkward dinners.
Ro, even I know better than that.
It's not going to be an awkward dinner. You can eat whatever you make.
That is true.
Ravioli again. Damn.
Oh, come on.
What are you talking about? It's ramen noodles.
That's right. He went to college. He knows how to make that.
That's true. There was once a time in college we had like meal plans, and I ran out of my meal plan and still had like a month of college for the semester. And I remember calling my dad, and I was like, "Hey Dad, can you send me some money? I'm gonna buy a shit ton of ramen noodles and just eat that for a month." And he's like, "You are not doing that. Buy actual groceries." I'm like, "All right, I guess."
How much of it did you spend on booze?
Not as much as you think.
Okay.
Even despite the fact that I was in a fraternity.
Cool. Well, good on you. I have one in college right now, and I know that, she'll try to be clever, and she'll come home ostensibly to say hello, but really just to see what we have in the cabinet. It's like, ooh,
I'm gonna say, if she's watching, now she knows she's got.
They don't watch it. They don't watch.
One can hope.
My dad won as a door prize a bottle of Jim Beam, and neither of my parents drank. And so they're like, well, we'll just put it up on the top shelf because they'll never be able to get to it. And my oldest brother, Tim, he, needed some alcohol, so he got it, and and it just kept getting paler and paler in color after every weekend. Yep. Until finally he had to break down and get someone to buy him a new bottle. And then about that time, he had friends who were 21. So then my next brother, Tom, he did the same thing. And then Tom is like, yeah, did you notice it's like yellow now? It's no longer brown? I'm like, what are you doing? It's my turn.
You're ruining this. We had a sacred tradition, and you're messing with it.
Brothers. Can't do anything with them.
Older brothers, I tell you what.
I'm going to say I am an older brother, but I don't have any older brothers.
I got 5 of them. You can have a couple of mine.
Yikes.
Is Crownfall a standalone, or is it going to be the first of how many?
I intend it to be a standalone. I wrote Crownfall because I wanted it to be a very low barrier of entry to introduce yourself to me. I didn't want to have to commit you to a whole series. I wanted to give you a whole story, start to finish. Is there room at the end to expand it if the masses start chasing me? Yes. But it is a complete story. You never have to read another thing after this in this world. The story that I'm working on right now is set in the same universe, but not in the same world.
Okay. Yes, if the people want more, you give them more, unless you're, what's his nuts from Game of Thrones?
George R. Martin, yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Thank you. Although I did see something the other day where he actually does plan to write the last book.
What, next decade?
I don't know. He's been saying it for years. If he gets to it, he gets to it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I honestly have just given up trying to care about it.
I just like making fun of it. I've never read any of them. So,
I don't. I have read half of the first one, but I started reading it when I was way too young, and it was a little too dense for me at the time. Yeah. And it's something I do want to revisit because I hear that the first 3 are really good, very solid, fantastic writing. But I haven't gotten around to them yet.
I read the first one, and I didn't really like it, but my brother kept saying, no, they get better. And I got halfway through the second, and I was like, I hate every character. I want someone to develop a nuclear bomb and kill everyone. And that's just not going to happen. So, I mean, George R. R. Martin is as bad a writer as Joe Abercrombie. And I'll stop there. I could add more to that list.
I think what you're saying is you don't like grimdark.
No, well, I don't like George R. R. Martin because the man cannot build any tension without there being something gratuitous happening. And I don't like Abercrombie because the man has never figured out what a plot is.
Oh, that's rough. I have not tried Joe Abercrombie yet, but he's on my list.
He's on my list too.
Hey, Luke. Sorry, Ro, what was that?
Said he's on Mike's list too. It's just a different list.
Oh.
See, if you want to hear about Abercrombie, I can tell you, since there's no plot, I can't spoil it because nothing means anything.
Oof.
I have no dog in this fight, so I don't know. That is a really good idea. What you said though, just having that low barrier to entry. Again, you sound, this is someone, you are someone who has obviously listened to all the stuff that people had to say about starting your indie author career and actually listened to it, as opposed to doing what Mike and I had done, which is pay no heed whatsoever to any of it. And sitting here years later going, I wonder if I should have. And it looks like the answer is probably yes. So you've been doing the pre-sales for a month now, going well? I mean, did you have goals, or did you just say, let's just see what happens?
Very much, let's see what happens. I have zero expectations on the amount of success I do or do not have with Crownfall. Like, I understand that I am a very small fish in a massive ocean, and people do not know me yet. That was a big reason why I started Author Adjacent. Was I eventually fell into doing the author interviews, but I didn't start with it doing that. I did it so that I could build a platform and give people a chance to get to know me before a book existed, so that they could see my content and be like, oh, okay, I've heard of that Michael Vadney guy. He has some solid opinions, or he has some horrible opinions, but maybe I'll give his book a try when it comes out.
Yeah.
And then eventually I switched over to doing author interviews. I reached out to CM Kaplan, Connor, and I was like, hey, I've never done this before, but I would like to try this. Would you mind being my first guest? And from there, it went great. And now Author Adjacent is mostly interviews. But so much about Crownfall was very intentionally meant to be very easy to pick up, to enjoy, to read, and to just consume the whole story. It has a very low barrier of entry. It's not complicated with its magic system or its world building. I hope the characters, you find them interesting. I found them interesting. And I just wanted something that was like very easy to read.
Did your characters give you any issues as you were
all the damn time
growing them up?
Absolutely. I would say Amara gave me the least amount of issues. She was my golden child. I knew who she was and what she was about very early on, and she stayed very solid to that core. Kindell and Gellert, each at their own time, were the brattiest little things ever. I think in my early drafts, my thief, Kindell, he was just this angry, whiny little dude that was super like just rage. I'm just like, this is not interesting to people. And then Gellert was just very whiny. And I remember there was in my writing group that I was in, I remember Jack, this guy in my writing group, he just turned to me and he goes, Gellert is just kind of a wuss. And I'm like, you're kind of right, he is. I should fix that.
But it makes sense a little bit. If your thief is bent on revenge, then he's going to have those kind of, and if your other guy is kind of lost his way internally, then he will also have those ups and downs and et cetera, whereas your noblewoman has a very definitive plan and reason for being, right? So it makes sense in the way that you describe those characters, that very easy way that you describe them, how their characters fit that description. So I guess.
Well, yeah, the big issue with that, though, was I was leaning too hard into those two things. Like, Kindell was angry, and that's it. That's all his personality was. And it just made for very little nuance, even in situations where, like, anger didn't really add to the situation, didn't make it more interesting. It made him feel like a one-trick pony. And the same for Gellert, just kind of being a whiny wuss. Yes, they both do still have those moments. Kindell has his anger moments, and they are very satisfying when they come around, but they're satisfying because it's not that 100%. Right. You got the ups and downs now so that you can get a break from it and then enjoy it again. It's like re-listening to the same song 100 times. You're going to get tired of it eventually. And that was what I was running into with these guys.
So were all three of your main characters from the beginning, or was one of them a side character who just wouldn't go away?
All three were main characters, though Gellert changed the most. He was like a middle-aged Templar type character, and then I lowered him to 25 and made him a magical engineer eventually. But there was, yeah, it was always three main characters. I knew I always wanted three POVs, which I do not recommend for your debut novel. Like, that gave me a lot of headache that I was not expecting. That was rough. It worked out. I'm very satisfied with what the end product was, and the story is very fun to me. I'm rereading it now just because I now have physical copies, and it's just very exciting to do. But yeah, I would not recommend starting with three main, like very equally distributed POVs for your debut novel.
So they're not together.
They don't start together. They don't start together, and they just come together at certain points, and then they have their own thing. They come together at certain points, and the rest I will not say because of spoilers.
Is it first person or third person?
Third person limited.
Okay.
I've been experimenting with some short stories that are in first person, just because I haven't done it a lot before, and it's just fun to kind of stretch and see how that feels. But it's been interesting. You get a very different kind of personal relationship with the character when you go first person.
So if you really hate yourself, write a sprawling epic fantasy in first person present tense.
Well, you couldn't possibly be talking about becoming a druid now, could you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know why. There's a reason why no one does this.
I tried to write a short story in first person present, and I kept finding myself in third person. It's just like,
it's a hard habit to break.
You kind of have to do it almost as a diary entry, to do it in first person like that. It's like, some books, I listen to this cozy mystery series, which is done in first person like that, and it's fine. I don't have any issue with it at all. But maybe that's because, I got used to it reading Mike stuff when my first initial reaction to it was, the first person thing just hit me wrong at first, and it's like, okay, that's okay. That's how he writes. That's fine. We're not,
there's a lot of people that will look at first person and hit the first page and immediately put the book back down. That is unfortunate. Yeah, that is unfortunate though, because there are some stories that are better for being first person, but I do think most stories are better as third. Like, if you're going for a first person, there's a very close relationship that you should be going with for your character. Like with God, I'm trying to remember his name, Mike, in Becoming a Druid. Grommy. Yes, like Grommy has a lot of personality, and you need someone with a lot of personality, with a strong through line of like who he is and what he's about, in order to pull off first person.
Yeah.
So I've told the story before, but there's a lot of Mike in Grommy. And when my book was in Smithbow, the review was, I hate this main character, but I liked everything else about the book. 3 stars. And I'm like, okay, I'll try not to take that personally.
We're not going to be friends in real life, and I'm sorry.
So Lucas,
that's what my reaction would have been.
Sorry. I know you answered this earlier. Lucas came in late. He said, are we getting audio?
Yes, there will definitely be an audiobook for this. I'm hoping to make it happen by the end of summer. I have an experiment that I'm planning to do where I'm going to record myself doing it for 3 chapters. And I'm going to throw those onto the internet and just let people hear them as just a way to advertise like, hey, Crownfall still exists. But it's also an experiment to see, can I do it? Do I have the chops? Do I have the equipment to read my own book? I've been playing, this sounds like the dumbest reason to do this, but I've been playing D&D for years, and I love playing D&D. I love character voices. I remember my wife once turned to me and said it was like she was married to a cartoon character, because I just like to do funny voices sometimes. And I think it would be great if I could read my own book and do audiobook. And so I'm going to do 3 chapters, see if it works out, see if I enjoy it. And if I do, I'll give it a try. If I don't, I will hire someone else to do it. But there will definitely be an audiobook. I listen to most of my books that I consume. There's no way that I would not become my own favorite customer and not make an audiobook.
I'll tell you, when I listen to my books on audio, I'm always like, oh, this is way better than what I wrote. It's so much better if you listen to the audio.
EO wants you to read a page.
Yeah. What was that?
EO wants you to read a page.
Oh, I could do that. Is that weird?
You wouldn't be the first person to do it, but you'd be one of the first 5.
And you're on our show, so we do weird things. So
possibly one of the first 3. I don't know. It's only happened once or twice. But as you're getting that ready, Steven has a question. How many times have you read your own book at this point?
Oh God,
way too many
Too
to count.
Freaking many.
Yeah, like I've gone through 10 drafts, and each of those drafts were probably read at least 2 or 3 times. So a lot. I'm getting to it, EL.
Mike?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to read a whole chapter or anything. Just give us like a page.
No, I'll just read like I'll read chapter 1 about half a page.
Okay.
Kindelsheim's strides carried him into the moonlit slums of Berunt. With a bit of luck, he could offload his evening's haul for a decent price. He'd almost scraped together enough coin to buy gear and papers for the real job, the only one that mattered, killing the Viceroy. Passing beneath the fragmented arch that marked the border of the Warrens, the atmosphere of the city shifted. Clean roads gave way to soot-streaked ruins, relics of the fire that had gutted the district a decade ago. A consequence of the struggle that marked the Viceroy's rise to power. Stone had turned to dirt, dirt to mud, churned by the island's sporadic rains. The sour flavor of refuse, stale smoke, and clammy earth clung to the air despite Kindel's shallow breaths. He had long ago given up on trying to cover his mouth and nose against the stench. He would never be used to it, but life had taught him that sometimes you had to acknowledge the futility of your efforts and learn to thrive in the discomfort. First half page.
That's how it starts?
That is the first half page of the book.
All right. So the Viceroy is your bad guy.
He is Viceroy Gion Magnus. I love him. He is a bit of a showman and a theater guy, and I love that.
Yeah, I think...
You're welcome, Lucas.
Lucas, his wife is here. You might want to watch it there, bud.
We do make jokes about the book baddies coming after me. So Lucas is my first book baddie.
You mentioned the keywords a couple minutes ago, Michael, and that you love playing D&D.
I do. I've been playing with a group for a long time. I've DM'd games. Now I'm a player.
All right. Well, we are going to pick one of your characters.
Okay. Like my book character or my D&D character?
Your book characters.
Okay.
You've seen the Bald Dome?
I don't know if I have.
Oh, you're about to enter the Bald Dome.
Of this show, we'll mark you down for that.
Okay.
What we're going to do is you're going to take one of your characters. They are going to have nothing but their clothes and their innate abilities. We are going to transport them somewhere where they will have an encounter. Okay. You will get to choose whether your character has a random item or a weapon. If they choose a random item, they will have an encounter with a random creature. If they choose a weapon, they will have an encounter with a random mythical creature.
Okay.
So who's your character?
I'm going to cheat real hard and choose... Oh, go ahead, Mike.
So you also, in this, you also get a magic potion from the discount apothecary bin, which they assure you 100% will work, but they lost the label, so they don't know what it actually does.
I love that too.
You can either ingest it yourself or throw it at your enemy. It will work the same in either instance. But again, you just don't know what.
And we need to know your favorite color.
Personally, my favorite color is orange. Hence that.
Okay. So the potion that you have is an orange fizzy potion. It looks like Orange Crush in a vial.
All right. I will choose for my character. I will choose Kindelheim, and I will warn you ahead of time now. It is kind of cheating because he can essentially 3D print iron.
Just from the air, or does
It
he
comes
need?
from him?
Oh,
It's from
okay.
his body.
So that's your magical dude then.
Yes. So I have a magical engineer, and the thief is technically magical as well.
Okay, so we're kind of bringing Hephaestus into this.
A little bit.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So does he want a common item, or does he want a weapon?
He will take a common item.
Okay.
Let people choose that anymore.
So Kindell has been magically transported to a frozen lake at night. The crackling ice under his weight, the slippery footing, and dark shapes moving beneath the surface. That's the best chat GPT could give me, so sorry. But,
That's okay.
I'm not going to write 20 different scenarios up. So he has a orange fizzy potion, and you said he wanted a common item?
Yes, please.
Okay, he has a single tankard of potent mead.
Potent mead. Are we talking like really high alcohol content here?
Yes.
Getting close to
Like, yes, like you could clean,
German mead.
anything with it.
Love that.
So,
Okay, so does he have a specific goal here? Or is it just survival?
so he's been transported here, and he's trying to get his bearings, figure out what's going on. He's excited about the tankard of mead. Doesn't know what to do with the orange fizzy potion. He's kind of slipping all over the place. He sees the stuff below him moving, which kind of freaks him out. And then he looks up, and lo and behold, on the ice, there's a moose.
Oh no! I'd be boiler making that freaking orange potion in that beer.
So, and if you haven't seen it before, no one believes that I roll as bad as I do. So I'm going to do my camera down so you can actually see it. If I roll half the time, it'll be below 8, I guarantee you. So when we play this game, we'll say, Michael, what happens? And if you say, this happens, fine. If you say, I don't know, he's going to try this, does it work? Then I'm going to have to roll. So it is in your hands. What happens? We did have one part where the Manicore and the person missed 3 times in a row each, and they ended up sitting down for a tea party.
Lovely.
So, it's really up to you how this ends. The other one hopped on top of the polar bear, and they went frolicking off in the distance. So, it is up to you. You are a storyteller. Tell us a story. We will help only if we must.
Okay.
And with that, let me do my camera down, and oh, look, there's my new release.
Oh, look at that. Shameless plug. Do it. All right.
So, anyway.
So we're on the frozen lake. There are beings swimming underneath the lake. Kindell is on top of it. And there's a moose. The moose is, how far away is the moose?
40 feet.
40
That's
feet away.
Way too close for a moose.
That is way too close, especially for this big, old, huge, antlered alpha dire moose that is now just charging at Kindell because clearly he's gotten way too damn close to this thing. And he will immediately oh god, what will he do? Well, yeah, the first thing he will do is he will make a weapon. He will this may not make sense because you haven't read the book yet, but he will pull on his tether to form an iron dagger into each of his hands, and he will try to throw the daggers at the moose to veer it off its course.
Have you ever seen a moose?
I have. Kindell has not. He's an idiot. He lives in a tropical island.
all the more reason. That's fine. That's what you're going to do. But
that's not what I'm going to do. It's what Kindell's going to do.
Daggers isn't the way I would go with a moose because they're frigging huge.
So yeah. I have a question. Since we're on a top of frozen lake, how cold is this? Does he get frostbite when he makes these steel weapons?
Frostbite is typically not instantaneous, and
No.
if the moose can live there, it's got to be temperatures that he can at least survive in for a few minutes. And if he's
Okay,
instantaneously transported here, he's got some time.
Okay. So he throws the daggers at the moose?
Yep, he throws the daggers at the moose to try to make it so it doesn't charge at him.
He didn't say the daggers hit the moose, Mike, so
I did not.
Going to have to roll.
14 or better.
I am the player in this.
20!
Hey!
Did you really get a 20?
Is that a natural 20?
A natural 20.
That's unheard of.
I know.
Going D&D rules, that
Yeah,
means
but
that
it's
is a
still
critical
only a
hit,
dagger,
double
and
damage.
It's still a moose. So
You say that.
mean,
Oh, I'm not going to unload you with D&D rules.
I'm still on D&D like first edition.
Okay.
The dagger is in him, but it's still only a dagger. So it's not big enough to hit anything super important from a head-on hit. And now he's just really pissed. And moose are very short-sighted, but you've given him something to go on. So
that is true. How thick is this ice beneath Kindle?
Well, you can see black shapes beneath you moving, so it can't be but so thick if you can see through it.
But it's thick enough where you're standing on it and it's not cracking. And a moose is on it. So you're not going to punch through it before this moose stomps on your head.
Before the moose punches through you. Yeah.
In that case, as the moose is charging Kindle, he's going to put both his hands forward and form an iron wall in front of him to block the moose.
I may have led with that, but okay.
Kindle is not the most intelligent person. Neither am
I. Where does this iron come from?
So he has something that's called a tether. That is an invisible thing that is attached to him that he draws energy from. And that energy, when he holds it inside of his body, it can make his reflexes quicker or his balance a little better, or he can expel the energy into his affinity, which is iron. So he can make things that are in the shape of iron. There are other such beings in this world. They all have different kinds of materials that they can do it in. Some people have jade, other people have different kinds of stone or crystal. It's all different kind of like earth minerals or metals.
Oh, so not like ice cream.
We've learned something about the character. Mission accomplished.
There we go.
14 or better, Mike.
15. We are on a roll tonight.
You didn't tell us how big of a wall you wanted, though.
I did not.
So you do put up a about 3 foot high wall.
That's a great wall. Kind of ducks beneath it.
What's that?
If it's only 3 feet, he ducks beneath it.
Good call. And you get to watch the moose jump over said wall and then kind of skid around to come back to you.
Excellent. In that case, after that, we're in Texas right now. He's going to pull on the energy and hold it into himself to try to make his balance a little better. And he's going to jump on top of the moose as it's trying to like get its balance from the skittering.
Oh, that's outstanding. I really want this to happen. 10 or better, Mike.
15. Look at that.
Makes the thing. I mean, there are little critters on the side of the pond holding up, 6s and 7s, and they're all about this. They're having a great time. So what does he do now that he is on the back of a moose that he injured?
He is going to hold on for dear life and hope he
does have 2 containers of liquid, by the way. Don't forget these.
No, I think that beer probably spilled, Mike. It was.
Oh, that's a crime.
Yeah, well, it might be a crime, but it was in an open, it was a mug of beer. So,
unknowing what's going to happen next, I'm going to say he smashes the potion on the moose's head.
That is wonderful.
Excellent. What is the
It is a potion of healing. It accelerates the natural healing process of wounds and injuries.
Excellent. He's making amends for the wounds that he did then,
Yes,
and
yes.
hoping that will win the moose over.
Because they're very gentle beasts. Oh, wait, no, we're talking about
Very
moose.
understanding.
Mike, give me a 12 or better.
That would be an 18.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know what's going on tonight.
That moose comes to a dead stop. So I think you probably need a saving throw for going straight ass over said moose.
Definitely.
Yeah. Pretty good dexterity, your engineer?
Well, this is the thief. Yeah, he's got pretty good dexterity.
So 10 or better. I'm counting on Mike here. He's had way too many good rolls tonight.
I know.
That's a 12. I've not got a single digit yet.
You hang on. Just barely. You hang on.
All these rolls are just making up for the fact that I was playing D&D last night and I could not roll above a 10. So this is just the universe balancing itself out for me.
Well, this is the universe balancing Mike out because he usually rolls like 1, 2, 1. I think that was an actual sequence of rolls he had one.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
I had,
freaking awful.
I had 2 1s, a 2, and a 20.
I think we actually killed somebody once, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I have to tell you, Michael, this is an alternate dimension. So, if your character dies, it doesn't mean you have to stop writing. It's not canon.
Oh, thank goodness.
Because we've had people who've gone to great lengths to make their, character live, even though there was no way they could have. So, just so you know, it's not canon.
And you're not out of the woods yet here, Vadney. So what are you going to do?
I think at this point, he's going to try to ride the moose like a horse. He doesn't know where he's at. He knows he's in the middle of the wilderness and it's cold. He's going to have to get to civilization somehow, and it'll be much faster riding a moose.
Hey, Ro.
Yeah.
We have a moose which weighs how much?
Like about a ton.
And tiny feet, and he's on ice. Is the ice going to hold the moose with, that all that weight on such small feet?
Their feet aren't that tiny. They'll be fine.
Okay. I tried. Somebody knew. Steven, he was going with me there.
Swim with the dark things.
But
so are you going to try to steer him to the shore?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Let's see. What would it take to break a moose in?
Probably pretty hard. Pretty hard animal handling
Let's
check.
do this. Let's give it 5 rolls. If it's a 19 or 20, you succeed and the moose calms down because you've healed it. If it's a 1 or a 2,
I'll fail.
You fail and you go flying off said moose and he proceeds to stomp you.
That sounds
so am I rolling 5 at the same time or just 1 in a row one at a time until we do what? What's that?
1 at a time.
Okay. That would be a 2.
Yeah, that didn't take long.
The universe corrects
having
itself.
none of this.
No.
None of this nonsense. But he does appreciate you healing him. He feels a lot better now. He wants to show you how much.
Oh, that lovely.
But I will give you a little separation distance. So you do have time for an action.
Excellent. In that case, as he's being flung off the moose and now they're facing each other again and about to square off, Kindell will learn from his mistakes and make a big executioner axe from the iron that he can summon. And he starts to feel this pressure in the back of his skull as he's starting to use his power too much. And he knows he has limited time left.
So we've learned something else about this world. Excellent. Okay, so instead of going for a big spike that you can plant and impale the moose on, you're going to go for an axe where it actually has to get up that close to you. Excellent.
Yes.
What do you think you need to hit the moose?
Ooh, to hit the moose strong enough to like put it down, it would probably have to be pretty high.
Not necessarily to put it down, just strong enough where it doesn't stomp you.
Okay, and to not stomp me, I would say probably at least a 14 or 15.
14, Mike. That sounds good.
No, I will give you a 1.
Critical fail.
A 2 and a 1. See, I wasn't lying.
It's bouncing out.
So you take your swing at the moose, and it's cold, and your fingers are starting to feel it, and the axe goes flying, but nowhere near the moose, unfortunately. Mike, 15 or better.
That's a 20.
Excellent.
Natural
But because
20.
you are so nimble, as you go rolling down, you manage to kind of roll underneath the moose as it goes over you, and you look at the divot it leaves in the ice and realize just how lucky you are.
Oh yeah, is the ice cracking at all from the divot?
It is not.
Okay, that's
But
good to
you
know.
are now with the land to your back and the moose that way. So
Okay.
doing a couple quick calculations in your head, you
Yeah.
might have a chance.
In that case, what he's going to do is he's going to put his hands up and try to make the biggest mass of iron that he can make in the air above him. And right as he lets it go to hopefully crash through the ice, he's going to start booking it to the shore.
You're crashing the ice in front of you?
Yes.
No.
He's trying to take a big old thing of iron to drop it in the ice in front of him and then turn around towards the shore.
Oh, I see.
To hopefully break the
Moose
ice
will
around
fall in the
before
ice.
the moose. Yes.
I like it. Okay. 6 or better for the thing to actually crack the ice.
1.
Come on, Mike. I thought we were friends.
2, 1, 1. You do not disappoint, Mr. Molman.
There was a 20 in there. It was a 2, 1, 21.
So that's right. Yeah. What are the odds? So it does go into the ice, but it doesn't crack through the ice. It just sticks in the ice just enough to, like a little wall again.
Nice.
But it also gives you something to push off against when you go running toward the shore. So you got that going for you, which is nice.
Yep. I'm running towards the shore and hoping for the best.
Okay. Mike, does the moose hit the piece of iron?
Do I roll for this?
Yeah, let's see if you get a 1 or a 20. That'll tell us what we need to know.
14.
No, he has to go around it though, so you get a little bit more distance. So that's good. So let's just say you make it to the shore. Mike, does he have an escape plan here? Does he have any opportunity to actually get out of this?
I gave you the entire 2-sentence thing, so we can.
Make something up, Mike.
Yeah, I got nothing.
He writes fantasy books, Michael.
Hey, but he's got a long time to figure them out.
All right.
Yeah, and you know that I don't write adjectives, so.
You see a portal off in the distance a little bit.
Ooh.
If Mike can roll an even number above 6, you make it.
Ooh, I like this.
Even number above 6.
That'd be a 2.
Even number,
Come on, Mike.
but a 2. I think this is as many 1s and 2s from even you as we've ever seen before.
Well, I started off couldn't roll a single digit, so you knew it had to balance out.
All right, so the moose is coming right up behind you. You're not going to make the portal.
I'm not going to make it.
You're not going to make it.
In that case, he's going to try to slow down the moose. He's probably got like one more creation in him before he's out of juice. He will try to make big old whopping caltrops and drop them behind him as he keeps running.
Okay. Now you said your magic is, you've been straining a little bit on the magic.
He is, yeah. So he might not be able to make this.
So we'll give you an 8 or better, seeing how Mike hasn't rolled anything above an 8 in quite a while.
12.
Hey!
Hal trips down. Again, the moose is slowed just enough. You make it through the portal.
Oh, thank goodness.
And yes, you're back home like 2 seconds after you left, and whoever you were with before is like, "The hell's wrong with you?" And,
Yeah, it's very confusing for everyone all around.
okay. See, I was thinking that you were going to like just run up to the portal, then duck to the side and let the moose go through it. But
Nope, we're gonna try to get in there. We're trying to get out of here. We're very confused and we're upset about it.
you made it out though, and that's what's important.
Thank goodness.
Despite Mike's best efforts to kill you.
Yeah, Mike. What the hell?
What's up with that? Huh?
That's just a normal day.
All right, so the 28th of April, Crownfall, again, you're here, you've heard of it. You will see it all over social media for the next 4 weeks at least. Hook a brother up, go out and pre-order it now. And if enough people pre-order it, he'll hire somebody to do an audiobook sooner rather than later. Otherwise, you'll have to listen to him, which will be fine as well.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys
And
so
don't
much.
forget to check out Author Adjacent. Awesome show. When's your next episode?
This tomorrow. Tomorrow I have GJ Terrell back on for
Nice.
his second episode. And then we'll also have another Spiffbo 11 update on Monday.
Okay.
And Ro, don't forget everyone to like and subscribe to Bald&Balding. We are 24 away from 600.
We're getting tantalizingly close. Do you know anybody in Fantasy Faction, Michael?
Not off the top of my head.
They need to get on the ball and start putting out some results.
Yeah, I said that once too. And guess who was the first person eliminated?
Well, at least I can stop caring then.
Yeah, all the blogs go at different speeds.
Yeah. All right.
Sometimes they just dump all their information all at once. It happens. We've been doing ours kind of piecemeal over on FanFi Addict.
Yeah, it's kind of fun like that, just to start getting those little dribs and drabs. Tomorrow night here at what, 9 p.m., Mike?
9 p.m.
Good gravy. 9 p.m. It is Creature Creation with who do you got?
A bunch of people. I have not made the thumbnail yet, so I don't know. But thank you for putting me on the spot. It's like I rolled a 1 or something.
Yeah, nice. I thought you knew. Okay.
No, come on. It's not till tomorrow.
You got time.
All right. So, Michael, thank you very much for being on our little program here. We appreciate it. And thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us for the last hour and 12 minutes. We appreciate you and the time that you spend with us. We do not take that for granted. Again, if you haven't hit the like and subscribe, please do. Check out Author Adjacent on your favorite YouTube channel. Check out michaelvadney.com. Get the book. Comes out the 28th of April. And we will see you later.
See you, folks.